Do you want to start us off in the room, guys?
I'll start us off, that's right. Commentary team's been great, and this is one thing I think with the NBL, the content that's been getting out, it's been fantastic, and it's more. There was, again, an article was done about Lat Mayen, and they confused him with another Sudanese player in the league, and it ends up looking, I don't know, let's say embarrassing, but it's a level of disrespect for Lat. Articles mentioned about going the weakest Australian draft class. Well, Sam Wardenberg's not Australian. So tonight, a mention of Keanu's background, and it was highly incorrect, and it's rather disrespectful to him and his family. And I'm not trying to throw barbs at anyone. You can write us off. That's fine. Like, I get that. Like, it's all good. Just Google search, man. Just look up where these guys are from when you start. Don't listen to someone's opinion and decide that's enough. So, yeah, it was disappointing. Keanu had a great game, and it cuts him a little bit. So I felt like I need to do that for him and his family, and that's where I'll leave it.
Can you give us a little bit more context around that, Coach? Obviously, we haven't heard what's going on. What actually happened?
Yeah, you can look back. It's in the first quarter. I apologise for being delayed because it came through the grapevine, and so of course, as I do, I make sure I'm very thorough, and so we went back and had a look, and yeah, it's wrong. So I'm not gonna sit here yell and scream, but it'll just be nice again. Write us off. That's good. But if you're going to talk about him, if you're going to talk about Keanu, if you're going to talk about Lat, if you're going to talk about Wardenberg, just get the simple stuff right, because then it holds a little bit more weight to everything else you put in, because, it's your job. Do it properly.
And Keanu's okay now? Like, he's upset or...?
Upset,
yeah.
As he should be. So, yeah, it's disappointing.
So, in terms of the evolution of what you're trying to do with this team, play up tempo, score the ball is probably one of those nights that you expect are going to come.
100%.
The shots don't.
Yeah.
The shots don't fall. So how did you think you guys were able to work through that?
The floodgates will open. It's just a matter of when. We're going to have games where it could open up in the first 6 minutes. It could be a game like last week where it opens up in the third. But the cool thing about it is, we got some gritty dudes and they get after it. I mean, Mitch Creek was just absolutely beasting us, and we tried different rotations. We had a few guys in foul trouble. But, we're down 10, I think, similar to like Tassie. We're down 11 for a young team that we are that, is still learning, not only collectively as a group, but they're also learning their own identity, right? We've got rookies on this team that are trying to find their way. We've got veterans on this team that are trying to find their way. And the best thing that I can do is just remain positive, because you're capable. We're not asking for guys to play outside of their capabilities. Play to what you've been doing for a good 4 to 5 years. Like, play how you're capable of playing. Like I mentioned last time at half against Tassie, Bull had 0 points, finished the game with 17, and tonight DJ was struggling to get going, and then arguably makes one of the biggest shots in the game. I have extreme confidence in this group, whether it's warranted or not. I said it from the start that, I adore this group. I love how these guys get after it every day. I'll go 0-28 with this group, and it'll be the best season I've ever had, because, they want it. There's desire. There's a chip on their shoulder. There's all the cool stuff that you want, and that's the build. Build the team you want to coach. So this was another game. That's game 2 that we're going to get better for. And hey, that's 2 road wins, right? Like, we got 6 road wins before the FIBA break, or just after the FIBA break. So, just to be able to get these sort of, as ugly and weird as it is, but hey, the floodgates opened up for us somewhere halfway through the fourth quarter, and the guys just believed. There was a moment in the timeout where you look up, there's 8 minutes, we're down 10. Hey, like, there's tons of basketball here. There was no self-implosion. It was very rewarding.
So 46 turnovers total for the two teams. You guys had 20. I don't know when was the last time there was that many combined. So given the way...
Cue the Benny Hill music. There was a point. It was back, forth, and... sorry, but yes, there was a lot. Go on.
No, so I guess that's the point. When you are playing high tempo and it gets a little bit ragged and hectic at times, do you live with that?
100%. Attacking. I want attacking turnovers. I want attacking turnovers because we're still applying that pressure. So, the one that sticks in my mind because it's the most recent one, right, was Taj comes off the on ball, he throws up the lob to Keanu. Keanu's there, it hits the ring, and now it's a turnover. Like I'll live with that. That's cool. What frustrates me is there were some things that were slippage in a sense that this was the most I think we've ever spoken to the refs, and I didn't like that. We got to move on from that. Our transition defense, we brought up a couple of clips at half time where, hey, we're better than this. Like the things that we can control, right? Guys just sprinting back and then, protecting the paint, declaring ball, all that stuff that required to do. You didn't do that. And, Taj had 7 turnovers. 4 of them I live with. 3 of them is just him working on his hands. And, it's game 2 for him with a brand new group. Then on the flip of the coin, right, like Shannon Scott, he's played a total of 60 minutes now and he's got 1 turnover. So hey, that helps balance it out, knowing that we can roll the dice with that group, see what happens. We might be up 20, we might be 20 turnovers. But then to have someone like Shannon to come off the bench and just be like, settle it down, get it done, very cool.
What about just the rotation in general? Do you feel that it's kind of tight at the moment with the 7 guys that play a lot of minutes? Jonah sort of played around 10 minutes, I think. Is that the way there was more players that played, but there was only a couple minutes for a few of those guys? Is that the way you see it playing out?
Well, what would you have me do different?
No, I'm just asking.
Creek was kicking our ass, and so it's probably Creek was kicking our butts, and it was probably one of those games, right, where Juki was great for us last week. Struggled a little bit with Creek this week. Then we roll into Perth, and Brady Manick's probably a better matchup for him. So last week we rotated tight because there was no Jonah. It was 1 game. Like, what am I conserving for, So tonight we rotated, we had DJ with 34 minutes, Shannon's at 30, Taj at 30, Keanu at 30, Bull at 30, and then we got Wardenberg, who was in foul trouble, played 19. If he's not in foul trouble, he's playing 25. So that becomes an 8-man rotation. I struggle to see why you go deep into the bench in a 40-minute game, right? It's strike the moment. We threw Jonah out there and we wanted him to sort of find his feet and get going. And, there were shots that he turned down, right? Shoot him. Right? That's his role, and, he'll grow more confident in that. But his minutes will go up, knowing we got a turnaround in Perth. Turnaround in Cairns to play Perth in 48 hours.
Just one for you, Jonah. In terms of this game style, seems like it's one that the players really enjoy. It seems like a fast up tempo for a scorer, someone who likes to shoot the ball. It seems exactly what you be playing.
It's perfect, man. It's a perfect fit. And we have a lot of guys who can shoot and play like that, so it fits well. And then we have a coach and a coaching staff who believes in us. So, yeah, we have a lot of belief, and I think we all enjoy the way we play. So, yeah, it's good.
Coach, can you just talk to us a bit about, obviously this real up-tempo offence that you're playing? Compared to your previous coaching stints, how much do you rely on the scout? Is it more about what you guys are doing, or do you still put as much time into the opposition?
Yeah, definitely. We've narrowed it down a little bit. The big focus, obviously, with our squad of 13, there's 8 brand new guys, and then you add 3 guys that have only been with me in their second year. So, there's a lot of dudes when you go on the court and you're like, hey, we're going to defend this, and this is Bryce, and we're going to pick him up at the 4-point line. There's some dudes that are like, oh, is he left-handed or right-handed, So, really comes down to the scout is how can we get easy points? How can we stop their easy points? And then it's personnel focused. This guy's an elite rebounder. This guy is an elite pick-and-roll defender. This guy is a non-shooter, so we can zone off on him a little bit and trying to keep that game plan simple. So I don't want to give them a 20-page spread and they walk away with nothing. Give them 5 really key points, and if they remember 3 of them, awesome. That's going to be the difference for winning a couple of possessions.
How hard is it to do the scout on a team like South East Melbourne that's got 4 key guys out and using 3 or 4 rookies?
No, I got a really good coaching staff, and we got access to a lot of footage, and there's a lot of stats that's available to everybody if they want to take the time to research it. So yeah, like I like Junior. I think an opportunity like this for Junior is great. The remnants of Keanu and Bull last year, in a sense that you got some key guys out. Well, now you can take the bull by the horns and stamp your claim. And, but we knew about him coming in because he was great at Hawaii. I knew that Brad Davison had a high valuation for him because Hawaii had a point guard that goes down. So he goes from being a combo guard to their point guard at Hawaii. Why do I know that? Because we scout it. We look it up. So, but that's a great job by our coaching staff. They're all over it, and we narrow the focus down to what's important for the guys.
So you're 2-0 now, and you mentioned before about the people writing your team off. Is that something that you've spoken to your group about, and is it maybe like a backs against a wall type ethos that you're going to adopt?
Not necessarily, because a lot of those articles, right, are wrong because they can't even get the simple stuff right. So how much weight do you hold into when they start to deep dive? Oh, this is, like no one knew that he played in the Czech Republic last year. And they're like, oh, he's a rookie out of Wake Forest. Well, hang on a sec, that was a year ago. So I use it for the guys in a sense of saying, block out the outside noise. And I'm not saying the people who write this are dumb. I'm just saying it's lazy. I'm just saying it's rather lazy. So it's good in a sense of saying, mate, if they're writing us off at 10th, that's cool because look at everything they got wrong. They can't even be bothered to put the time in for it. We know what we recruited for. We know the ride we're going to have. We're going to have games like tonight where the floodgates don't open up and we walk out of there going, geez, that was a grind, right? That was a struggle. But the cool thing about it is whether it's a win, loss, draw, we're learning from it, we're evolving. The guys are already about the errors that they made. They want their footage, they want their minutes. This is a really good group to coach. And again, I don't care if we lose the next 26 games in a row. I know these guys will play hard right to the end. That's a pretty special group to have. Lovely. Appreciate it.
Let me finish up.
All good. Lovely. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.